The video idea was brought to you by Barry, to teach you how to do this with a bit more succession. We will be talking now how to make ESL strats, what to be aware of before and during the making the strat, and how to get an idea of a strat overall. The video will be split in two. First, we'll be talking about attacking strats as the Discord community has spoken, and then on the other episode, we'll be doing the defend part. Keep in mind that the strat is the only low percentage of the win fragment. This strat will give you and your team an idea how to approach a defender's hold on a different situation. Making strat is making a plan for your round, and with that plan, you can and should always adjust it depending on what the condition defenders take. Without the plan, your flexibility wouldn't be on that level. So, as much as the game is for the adaptability, if you and your team want to get the game into the competitive level, you will need to make your own strat, or adjust the ones that I am doing for your own team. Fundamental thing of every strat is that every member of your team needs to understand the logic behind it. The attack episode will be split in two parts. First one will be how to make the standard attack strats, and the second part will be how to make poker strats. In this in mind, let's get going. Standard strats are the strat that theoretically should always work. Obviously not every round is perfect, which makes this game fun. The attack strats are really dependent on the defend strats, what defenders are going to do. So, before even starting to make strats, you all need to understand how a site and the map overall is played. The starting point of your strat should be, what kind of push do you want to do? Let's take an example of bank, CEO. Your first thoughts when making the strat should be, do I want to take CEO from the lobby or heaven? Once you made the choice, for an example you want to push from the lobby, you will have to think of what is the most important thing to do to execute that push. Well, in this scenario, your primary objective will be definitely be to open up this hallway's wall. I'm not going to get into reasons why, feel free to ask down below in the comment section for that, as it's a totally different subject. And to open that wall, that brings your first player in your attack lineup, which is Hibana, if not banned. Once you settle the idea of how to get the most important thing, you will have to think what defenders can bring on the table to slow it down. They can be bandit tricking the wall, contesting the garage from the front desk for an example, or kite tricking. How would you deal with that? Which operator to bring and which angles to pick to deal with all of this? Capital and burn him from the south part on the top. Or use Montaigne and push from the lobby stairs to brute force. Concuss Bandit with Zofia. These are all options for you to have, and that will bring probably the second operator to pick from. Now you will have to understand that you, as an attacker, want to set up the crossfires as well when possible. It's very much possible in this situation, which are windows, lobby as well as the CO ones, or even from the main stairs skylight. Since you have made the plan of how to do the main thing, you should be now focusing on the execution itself, which leads you for an operator with the smoke grenades, most of the time. Now we will have to do a checklist of what you have to do before you can actually plant. In this situation, you will really want to make sure that no one is or will be playing in the conference, so opening this wall will be really helpful. A dangerous play from a defender can happen if they run out from the heaven windows, so maybe bringing someone in the top heaven just for that reason or putting a drone there. Is pulse playing beneath, should you EMP once you start the plant. When you get all that, it's time for the plant and make sure that all your teammates are watching the different angles, or at least holding crossfires. Well, you will most likely want to smoke off this doorway as you have the conference room under control and person by the CO windows. And in this scenario, you need a planter, someone by the front desk watching the conference, and someone by the CO window. and that will be 3 people for the execution. So now, let's say a bit more things regarding the strat. You will have to be aware of the lineup that you're bringing up and your team's preference. You will want to make sure that your team is satisfying with the operator that they will be playing with. Another aspect to be wary of is the location of your drones. During the prep phase, you want to put them in a way so your team can immediately start pushing in, not to wait several seconds for that, or requirement to spawn a very different site just to drone something out. More about drones will be put in a specific droning video. The last thing that I would like to touch is to spawn on every possible spawn where cams are. You really want to destroy all outside cameras as quick as possible. The camera being alive means for defenders that they can way more easier and quicker adapt to your push. I didn't touch an important aspect of the roam clearing, and we will get back to that after the poker strats. The poker strats are usually the best to start off with the match, if you know how your opponents are playing, or you can do them in the middle of the match and just to spice the game up. Poker strats are the strats that are off the meta, doing unusual stuff, mostly rushes for attack or different kind of pushes to push away your defenders out of their comfort zone. Let's take an example of one of my poker strats that was used by XSK on the console by the lobby and piano. Before anything, you will want to know how the defense strat usually look like. In this situation, it's a very tough to control off and around meeting. Having that in mind, you will usually try to attack from a different side or take a different approach. Check the top right corner for the full strat explanation. You will be pushing by the west hallway, also known as Zulu, with having someone by the spiral stair stop. Repelling. What you are doing here is doing something unexpected and a very strong push. Obviously, all what I have previously stated applies here. You will still want to see how to get the control of the main part, statue in this case, how to get the plant drone, lob in this case. For our final subject, it's going to be roam clearing. Before starting the roam hunt, you will definitely have to lock up every possible exit from roamers. In the situation of Bucc, clearing top floor roamers that will be pushing with the heaven and having someone watching the lobby spiral stairs. However, let's go to a different situation and let's take an example of border. Objective is lockers and archives and there are roamers around the supplies, workshop and ventilation. If there are several options to do the roam hunting, you will have to pick one of them. In this scenario, you could push them from the outside supplies wall and having a person by the waiting windows. That means main stairs are locked up from the roam hunters and the E stairs are locked up due to the person by the waiting's window. Or you could push from the reception and tellers and open up the double barricade by the main hallway, again locking up both staircases. Once you're fine with one of the roam hunt, you will want to place your drones respectively. Usually one drone goes where the roam hunt starts, or even two if there are two ways of pushing, such as the reception tellers. Let's say that you are doing the custom from supply walls roam hunt. Having a drone in the customs is in a very start means customs and supply is clear. There is no need to waste droning out the supply and custom default hide spots. Your roam hunt, probably Bucc, will immediately enter the building. Now we will have to deal with defense setups. And you will have to see what's the best way of dealing with that. In this situation, the fan setup is probably going to be vertical angles, and as well as probably two people in the workshop and toilet. A workaround in the situation could be avoiding the vertical angles and pushing them from the toilet or the east workshop walls, as vertical angles from the archives would be very unpleasant in these situations. However, there are many workarounds. You can even abuse the Jackal's ping and trace people through the walls, and many other ways to go around the defender setup. So all in all, the most important thing about roam clearing is to have drones into the positions, not to lose your precious time, and to realize and write down all the possibilities that defenders can do to stall you down. You always should put a drone to cover up the most important flank space, which is waiting room in this situation, for the whole roam hunt and execution part, as then, if one of your men died, you can always watch your flank drone. Thank you for watching the video. Let me know your feedback down in the comment section below. If you would like to support me, make sure to give me a like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to see all the notifications and news about my channel. Also, don't forget to join the Discord server to talk about the meta and to follow me on the Twitter.